Welcome to Nightique. I'm Edward St. Pé. Well, we meet recording artist Jacky "Jack" White. He's written many songs for great artists that you know and love, great Nashville artists, and he performs at the Temple Theater in Meridian on a regular basis with his review. We'll meet him and hear him play next on Nightique.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, on this edition of Nightique, meet Mr. Jacky "Jack" White. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Nightique.
Hey, great to be
Jacky,
with you.
thank you so much for being here.
Well, glad to be here with you.
So you're based out of Meridian.
Correct.
And now, first off, tell us about the live show that you've been doing now for quite a while in Meridian, where you bring together a whole troupe of musicians. Tell us about
It's called Succonachi Review, and it is a true review. We do all kinds of music. We're just not limited to country music. We do gospel music. We do rock and roll of all kinds, rockabilly. We do gospel music, both Southern gospel and black gospel. Do a little jazz every once in a while.
So everything mixes together, right?
Yes. Now we'll come in with a theme, you know, because we'll always have a theme. Like last time's theme was maybe a tribute to my friend Cindy Walker, who wrote a bunch of great songs that happen to be mostly country, but a lot of rock and roll too. And for example, the last show we had, Mark Whittington shows up from nowhere. I mean, he just shows up to see the show. And Mark played all with these great blues people all these years and played with Fingers Taylor from Jimmy Buffett's band. And I said, Mark, don't you want to do a song while you're up here? And he goes, well, okay. So we go out completely unrehearsed with a full band with the Succonachi stagehands, which are these black singers who are awesome singers, and we did a Sam Cooke song. Has nothing to do with the theme now. We go out and we do a Sam Cooke song, Bring It On Home to Me, and then we did My Baby, you know, can't stand my love, my baby. You know, so we did all this stuff and completely unrehearsed. It was fabulous. It probably, for me, was a high point of the show, but we had a little bit of everything on that show.
So tell us about the venue that you performed this show.
Oh, well, this is in the venerable Temple Theater in downtown Meridian, Mississippi. It was built in 1928. It was old Sanger Theater, and with all the Egyptian ornate work everywhere, and it's just beautiful, and seats 1,300 and has the best acoustics of any room I've ever played in my entire life.
Now let's segue back to the beginning of your career. You were born near Nashville, but you became a Mississippian.
That's correct.
Tell us about some of the songs you've written for some of the artists that have recorded hits through the years.
Yeah, well, the first song I ever had recorded was a hit, and it was by Ray Stevens. And I co-wrote it. I came up with the idea and everything, and then I wrote the chorus and some of the silliness in there. But it was called Hello, Judge Wapner, Let Us Own That People's Court. It was called People's Court. So that was it charted, and then the album stayed number 11 the entire summer. It was a huge, huge hit album that Ray did. And then not long after that, I wrote a song for my friend Neil McCoy, called Mountains on the Moon, which is on was on a television show, and then he put it on four different albums that it showed up on, and it was never released as a single. So if any of you guys out there want to release a great single, that song should be a hit somewhere for somebody sometime. Then after that, right after that wasn't long, I had the Canyon, which was a country rock group, and they recorded my song Radio Romance. I co-wrote that with Monty Powell, and that song went big. And then after that, Charlie Pride and Hal Ketchum did a duet on a song, and it was a big #1 in England and a #1 on independent charts here called For Today. And then my buddy Steve Wariner knocked it out the ballpark with If I Didn't Love You,
and so that
and
was
so on and on. But we were talking before this start, the biggest hit I've probably ever had was an international hit called Exchange of Hearts, which was the first song I ever had published and the first song that I ever had recorded. And it was a title cut of a moderately successful album by David Slater, long forgotten in the country music history, but he was a great guy. And it was a B-side of a single that he had called Still Your Fool, which was a great song. But that song, Exchange of Hearts, is a standard in the entire Pacific Rim of the world, especially in the Philippines and Japan.
Do they sing it in English?
Yes, they do.
They sing it in English.
Yes, they do. They kind of mangle it a little bit like I mangle the English language.
Yeah, how do they sound when they do it?
Well, it's interesting. I won't try to replicate it, but it's more like if I had an exchange of hearts, you know.
That's an interesting story.
But
that was your first song.
The guitar part on it was played by Kent Wells, who's played all these years for Dolly Parton. However, he concentrates on playing guitar, I don't know. But anyway, he plays the most intricate, difficult passage on that song, and those people in the Philippines, especially in Japan, they play it note for note. I've never been able to play it note for note, so I don't know how they do that. But
that's really
they like the
story.
song.
That was your first song that you had published.
Correct.
And it went on
Yeah.
to become an international.
Here's the deal, Edward. Songs have a life all their own, because the thing about poetry, I found this out, and I wasn't even a good student, but someone made me realize this early on. Now, what I write's not poetry, really. It's lyrics. It's different. You got to sing them. If you can't hum them, then it's really not a song. But poetry can a lot of times mean whatever you want it to mean. It's when you're reading that poem or you're hearing that lyric, you put your own movie together in your own mind. So songs have a life all their own. I'll never forget when I first saw the video of If I Didn't Love You by Steve Wariner. I thought it was in a trailer park and it's all lighted like a horror movie or something, you know, or a bad B-grade movie, and there's a beautiful woman walking through it and everything. And I'm thinking, what the heck's that got to do with my song? And then when it got to be such a huge hit, I said, I don't care what it has to do with my song. I mean, it's great, you know. But whoever put that scenario together for that shoot, that's what they saw and heard in their minds.
Right.
The only time I ever had anybody call me and ask me specifically about ideas, and the only time was when Charlie Pride did For Today, and a producer called me from California and said, what do you see? What do you hear? And I said, well, let's just look at the words of the song. And I said, you know, you got fields of yellow flowers, and you got the blue highway, and then you got the water towers. And they went through 4 or 5 states filming these different things, which, you know, if they'd been doing a Hopalong Cassidy movie, they'd filmed it in your backyard. But they did that in 4 or 5 states. I always really was grateful that they would do all that for that.
And that was one of the last big hits, or #1 hits of Charlie Pride.
I guess so, yeah. But, you know, and I guess I could tell you this. There was a guy that came up to me, and I love him like a brother, and I'm not going to mention Ray Pilla's name. He was one of my first publishers. But I was writing for Acuff and Rose, I guess, at the time. It's hard for me to back up and remember all this stuff. Oh, no, I've got publishing. I've got half publishing on that side. So it was when I'd started my own publishing company. But Ray came up to me. He said, "You got anything going?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm delighted to tell you," that Charlie Pride just recorded one of my songs. And he goes, "Well," he said, "Charlie's career is not as strong as it used to be." He says, "You may not make a lot of money off that." And I looked at him and I said, anytime a living legend wants to record one of my songs, I'll pay them. And it did make money, it did do well, but I wouldn't have cared. It's just like when I wrote a song called Losing My Louisiana Blues, which is a big hit over in Europe. It never was anything over here. And it was off this David Slater. Randy Scruggs, Earl Scruggs' son, produced it. And he came up to me during the session, he said, Jackie's real quiet. Jacky, how would you feel about me getting Daddy out of retirement and having him play an electric banjo on this song? I said, oh yeah, that'd be fine. You know, anytime you got, and we had Vince Gill singing backup on some of that stuff. I mean, look, people don't realize this is a whole lot more to me. I'm just talking about me, but it's a whole lot more to me than just about money or recognition. I mean, I will go to my grave thinking, well, you know, I had Earl Scruggs playing electric banjo on one of my songs.
And Ray Price recorded your song.
Did Ray Price ever record one of my songs? I don't think that Ray ever recorded. Ray Pilla did. I don't know if Ray Price ever did.
So the
but Welcome to My World.
Okay.
The woman, Ray Winkler's daughter, asked me to record Welcome to My World. The thing about it was she handed it to me in a cassette during a big thing we were doing for the Hall of Fame, and down in not Carthage, Texas, down in Carthage. And there was a bunch of people, and they were autographs and things. And she handed me this cassette, and she says, or CD. She says, I want you to record one of my daddy's songs. And I said, and I didn't know her at that time from Adams House Cat. I said, okay. And I put it in my pocket, and all of a sudden I looked, and it said, Welcome to My World, Ray Winkler, Johnny Hathcock. And I said, is your daddy the co-writer of this song here? She said, yeah. And I said, you want me to record this song here? And she said, yeah, I really wish you would. I'd love to hear you record that song. And I said, well, I'll record that my very next session, which was just coming up. And I did, and I don't think it's the definitive reading. I mean, you think about Elvis and Dean Martin and of course Ray Price knocking it out, you know.
Well, are you going to be able to play a few songs for us?
I can.
You got your guitar?
I do. I have one sitting right over there.
Good. Well, we're going to have an exclusive performance here on Nightique, right?
All right.
Okay, good. Well,
Right.
Jacky Jack White, and we'll be back with live performance after this.
All right.
I'm Dr. Quinn, and I believe in the power of exercise. Many patients ask me if they're going to get high blood pressure or diabetes because their parents had these conditions. I tell them that we cannot control our genetics, but we can control our diet and level of exercise. Practicing healthy decisions result in a better outcome. I'm Dr. Quinn, and I want you to remember that you have control.
Could be wild as a gypsy, doing just what I please with my back to the past and my thumb in the breeze. Life could be easy, but where would I be if I didn't love you? If I didn't love you. And I could roll down Duck River till it never runs back. Ride the L&N train till it runs out of track. It wouldn't matter, that's a matter of fact, if I didn't love you, if I didn't love you. And if I didn't love you, I'd never found these sweet ties that bind without weighing me down. If I didn't love you, I'd have nothing to give. I'd spend a lifetime, never have lived if I didn't love you, if I didn't love you. So I could sail the high seas with my stern to the wind. My mind full of memories, all the places I've been. I'd still be waiting for my boat to come in if I didn't love you, if I didn't love you, if I didn't love you. I'd never found these sweet ties that bind without weighing me down. If I didn't love you, I'd have nothing to give. I'd spend a lifetime and never have lived. Yes, I'd spend a lifetime, never have lived if I didn't love you. If I didn't love you. Here's one I wrote for Charlie, Pride. The good Lord said, don't seek tomorrow. There's enough to do today. You can steal and you can borrow the time that slips away. I don't ask for gold or silver. I don't need favor or fame. It's a simple life delivered, the things that make up my day. So give me fields of yellow flowers, 3 square meals, a place to stay. Let me trust a higher power as I try to find my way. Give me towns with water towers, roll me down a blue highway. Give me love for 24 hours and we'll live for today. Well, it's a sin to take for granted all the good things that we know, like the sound of children laughing and the wisdom of the old. Well, there's a little bit of heaven when you get right down to earth. There's a million hidden treasures, half the pleasures in the sun. So give me fields of yellow flowers, 3 square meals, a place to stay. And let me trust a higher power as I try to find my way. Give me towns with water towers, rolling me down the blue highway. Give me love for 24 hours, oh, and we'll live. We're gonna live for today. You know, I thought I'd do a song that Eric Trauner from Europe just was nice enough to record. He's a blues guy. In fact, he's a big blues guy. Well, I'm just a country kid. You could take me out, but I'm still living in the place where that old river bends and the crickets rule the dark. And I ain't aiming for the charts. I'm just flailing this here old guitar, sailing straight on Noah's Ark, oh, sailing for your heart. Straight back to these arms, straight back where the feeling's so strong, straight back where it's safe and warm, straight back to these arms. I'm just a southern boy. I'm full of thunder, trouble and noise, but I'm your cracker box toy, spinning for your heart. Straight back to these arms, straight back where the feeling's so strong, straight back where it's so safe and warm, straight back to these arms. Come on, straight back to these arms, straight back where the feeling's so strong, darling, straight back where it's so safe and warm, straight back to these arms, straight back to these arms.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Jacky,
Hey.
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
And you know, you're our first country and western artist, and you know, it's really
Breaking new ground.
Breaking new ground. It's intriguing to not only hear you perform, but also just knowing your history, your pedigree as a writer. I mean, you've done some really amazing things in your life as a music writer and artist.
Well, I had a lot of fun.
And and you're still going. So
Still going.
it's the Sukanuchi Review.
Close.
And
Sukanachi Review.
Sukanachi
First
Review.
Friday night at 7 o'clock. First Friday night of the month, every month at the Temple Theater in downtown Meridian, Mississippi.
So if someone wanted to check it out, now your website
Just
is
$10 to get in. JackyJack.com.
and they can find out about the review there.
They certainly
and
can.
about the Temple Theater and all that right
That's
there.
right. Yeah.
And so, one thing we were talking about during the break is, you and so many other artists around Mississippi.
Right.
And historically we've got a history of great artists.
Right.
People keep saying, well, there's something in the water, and you kind of
It's something that has to do with the water.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, I've always read the Indians said that if you live by a stream or a river that's rolling like the rivers and streams roll around here, is that has to do something with your musical ability. I read that a long, long time ago, and not that I'm the greatest in the world, but I certainly grew up around Duck River in Columbia, Tennessee, and Fountain Creek, lived on Fountain Creek, and all my folks were incredibly musical. In fact, I'm not being humble when I say this, I'm the least of the musicians in my family. They were all fantastic.
And of course we got the Mississippi rolling right on through here.
That's it, man.
All the way down to New Orleans.
It just goes, doesn't it?
It sure, it makes sense what you're saying, though.
Yeah. And there's nothing like getting a guitar and to get a bunch of folks, and you're on that river, and you're just sitting on the banks, and you're playing and singing. That's some of the most beautiful times of my life.
Well, we want you to come back and see us again.
Edward,
okay?
thank you.
Thank you. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure meeting you.
Hey, same here, man.
Thank you, and good luck with everything going forward, okay?
God bless you. God bless you.
Okay, Jacky Jack White, and thank you for being with us on this edition of Nightique.